Hi qualities, welcome back for another quality reaction. So today we're going to be getting to the realm of Gen Z and why teachers are quitting. When I did that video the first time, I actually really enjoyed that video because I got to see a little bit about what's going on in the classrooms nowadays. So I thought I would take a little trip down memory lane and kind of do a video that resembled the video I did last time. And I'm kind of curious to see different perspectives and different points of views. And obviously I will pause and give my own perspective and my own point of view, but we are not gonna make this super long. Let's get right into it.
Young Gen Z teachers are talking about the poor behavior of Gen Alpha students, and some of y'all are finally starting to believe us when it comes to how much we've missed the mark on raising these kids right. Because I have gray in my hair and I'm 36 years old, people tend to tune me out as soon as I open my mouth when I start talking about these issues we're seeing in the classroom with our kids these days. So before I go on, why don't we review some of the evidence from some of the other creators on this app who might be a little bit more of a relatable age.
This is my folder of crying teachers, and they are confused and frightened by the behavior of Gen Alpha. They're saying Gen Alpha is defiant, aggressive, disrespectful, and rude.
Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life. They don't respect any authority. You ask them, can you stand in your designated spot? They're telling you no and shut up. They're throwing things at each other. They're throwing things at other people, other classmates. You say, can everybody sit in their spot? I don't want to. I'm not doing that. You don't get to tell me what to do. You're not my mom.
Where is your mom? Where's your mom? What do you mean? It is the responsibility of a parent to teach their child to listen to their elders. If you are going to have a child, you need to be comfortable scolding your child. Like, I get it. You don't want to make your child upset with you. You don't want your child to hate you. Well, I hate to break it to you, Peaches. You're a parent. You're a parent. Like, you had a child. Now it's your job to raise that child to be an acceptable member of society. Well, not acceptable, but an upstanding. Not acceptable, but an upstanding member of society, someone who is polite, someone who not necessarily is obedient, but you treat people how you would want to be treated. The golden rule: treat people how you want to be treated. Treat people with respect, especially when they deserve it and if they deserve it. So that was a long tangent, but let's get right back into this.
Like, I'm not even trying to be funny, but these kids are, I'm gonna just say this. I teach 7th grade. They are still performing on the 4th grade level.
I'm a middle school teacher. I'm also 22 years old. And I will tell you, by far, we are doomed. Like, these kids do not care. Like, I have kids, all they want to do all day long is get high. Like,
I need to ask millennials, why are your kids so awful? And more importantly, why do you think it's so funny? Your kids cannot read. They cannot write. They are ill-mannered.
I've been trying to sound the alarm.
It's not funny, but it's not funny, but it is, because these are the kids that you are raising. Like, you think it's okay to back them up when their behavior is, when they're ill-mannered. That's not okay. That's not cute, because you're literally raising a monster. Like, you're raising a gremlin. Seriously. Like, a kid that nobody wants to be around. Like, at all. Like, not even their teacher. And the fact that your kids can't read, honestly, put the electronics away. Stop buying your kids iPads when they're 2 years old. What do they need an iPad for? Oh, they're crying and this is the only way they'll stop. No, talk to them, interact with them, play with them. There are many activities you can do with a child that does not involve a screen. I believe, like, that's one of the reasons why everything is so messed up, because we're putting screens, like, we're shoving, not we, because I would never, but people are shoving screens in front of their child's faces instead of talking to them, instead of interacting with them. They would rather give them an iPad and tell them to go do whatever. No, you're a parent. Your job is to parent. Your job is to be there for your child. Your job is to talk with them, to actually do things with them, to keep them curious, help them learn things. Don't shove an iPad in front of their face and let it's an educational something that they can learn. But just letting them be on the iPad just because you don't feel like being a parent in the moment. No, it's okay to give yourself a break, but give them a puzzle, like a puzzle that's not on a screen. There are things that they can do where you don't have to necessarily participate. Things that keep their mind flowing, going. Give them something that's going to actually challenge them. But no, we're shoving screens in front of their faces, and when they actually have problems, we're not listening to them. We're just sending them on their way, and that's how things get shoved deep down. And I'm not going to finish that sentence, but yeah, I just find it crazy. Like, why are you not reading on our level? As a parent, I would probably feel very hurt, and I would think I'm not doing enough as a parent if my child can't even read above the level that they're supposed to be on. Okay, let's get back into it.
About Gen Alpha students and their poor behavior in their classrooms, as well as their literacy problems since May of last year. But because of my age and how I look, every time I make a video about these topics, I'll get people that have never worked with kids or have never spent a day in the classroom as an educator give me lines like, well, you're just old and jaded. If you don't like it and you can't handle it, quit and find another job. Kids have always been like this. Nothing's new in 2023. And then we've got the droves of people that are trying to blame it on COVID and trying to blame it on the lockdown. Us not having any sympathy or empathy for students with special needs, even though I never talk about those types of students. And I'm always talking about general population students and the fact that this is an overarching problem with every single kid, even the high achievers, even the ones that don't need IEPs, even the ones that are highly socialized and have a lot of resources coming from home. Teachers that have been in this for 1, 2, 3 years are seeing it, and they are talking about it. Teachers that are veterans like me that have been in the classroom for over a decade or 2 or 3 or nearing retirement are also saying the same thing. Your children are missing the mark on discipline. They're missing the mark on education standards. They're missing the mark on literacy. They're missing the mark on socialization. We can blame it on COVID. We can blame it on iPads raising our kids. We can blame it on the fact that kids don't socialize with each other enough. We can blame it on the economy and the fact that parents don't have time to help their kids learn how to read or don't have time to take their kids to the park anymore. We can blame it on all of those things, or we can blame it on none of those things. But it sounds like we're starting to get into a consensus here amongst educators that we have a real problem. And some of
I get that not a lot of people have time to help their kids with certain things, but I feel like as a parent, it's your job to make time. It's your duty, it's your obligation to make time. I get in this economy, we're overworked, underpaid, tired, but you don't get to be those things when you have a child. Your job is to help them and mold them and push them out into society. And I feel like a child's behavior is a direct reflection, or can be a direct reflection of how they are parented at home. But honestly, with some kids, I mean, you really just never know. You could do all you can to help them and raise them, and they still turn out the way they turn out in a way you didn't expect. With even all the love and support, it's honestly, you just never know. But especially because this is like a big problem amongst this generation, it's like something's going on, or something isn't going on at home. That's reflecting within the kids, if that makes sense, if any of that made sense. But let's keep going.
We all need to stop making excuses. You're just blaming the kids. You're just so mean. No, we are not. The problem is that we have this generation of parents that doesn't want to take accountability for not doing what they need to do to raise kids that are self-sufficient, that are socialized, or kind. And no, it's not the kids' fault. And why does it seem like teachers are the only ones that are talking about it? The people that are talking about it are the ones that work with the kids and not the ones that are raising the kids. Gen Alpha have been raised to believe that they are grown folks, that they can speak to whoever they want, however they want, that violence is the answer. Gen Alpha students are raised in a world that tells them that it's okay to be as nihilistic and individualistic as possible, that they don't have to care about anything or anyone, that they can speak to anybody however they want to speak to them, even though they're only 10, 11, or 12 years old. Most importantly, they are being conditioned to believe that they are immune to consequences, that there are no...
Which is it. That is insane. Like, as adults, as parents, it is your job to make sure. I keep saying it is your job because it is. Being a parent, it's a full-time job. Like, you don't get to take a day off. There's no such thing as time off. You don't get You don't get time off from being a parent. You're always a parent. No matter how old your child is, and your job is to advocate for your child, and a part of advocating for them is teaching them right from wrong. It's teaching them how to be respectful. Is teaching them when not to say something, even though they want to say it, because that's part of life. You don't always get to say what you want to say. That's part of life. Sometimes you have to keep stuff to yourself because no one needs your think piece, and no one wants your disrespectful and rude comments. Like, you're supposed to advocate for your child, and a lot of these parents are not advocating for their child. They're not doing things in their child's best interest because they're letting them be disrespectful. They're letting them be rude. They're letting them think it's okay to put their hands on other people, and that's just like, genuinely, if I was a teacher, if I was an educator, I would have quit, which I don't think I would ever want to be a teacher or educator, because as soon as something happens within the classroom, parents are so quick to blame teachers, and teachers are there to teach. They're not there to raise your child for you. They're not there to do that job. They're there to make sure your child is learning something.
Consequences to their poor behavior, to their rudeness, to their lack of care in completing tasks and doing well in school. They just don't care. Is this us demonizing kids for fun? No, it's not. The people that are talking about this are genuinely concerned. We are frightened for these kids. And if you're sitting back saying, oh my God, poor babies, like, I wish you would just quit talking about them because you're just being mean and it's not even helpful because kids are just kids, you are doing them absolutely a disservice to their future. This is not just an old people complaining about young people problem anymore. Young people in Generation Z, young teachers who are seeing the same thing I'm seeing with my two eyeballs, are talking about the same thing. You can call it an old folks complaining about young folks thing. Why are you demonizing millennial parents? Why are you demonizing Gen Alpha kids? Or you can step back and look at it from our perspective and say, gee, I wonder why there's so many people talking about the same thing. I wonder why there's so many teachers that are concerned about the same thing. We cannot even begin to talk about solutions until we admit there's a problem. Most of you...
And that's honestly the first step of acceptance. You have to actually admit that there's a problem. And for some of you who are on your high horses and think that your child is so angelic and they're such a saint, you're part of the problem, because you're literally enabling the behaviors that other people are seeing in your children. Obviously, you don't see it because they're acting like they're just acting like angels to you, but they're being demons to everyone else. No, we're not. No one's demonizing your. Well, actually, kind of are demonizing them a little bit, but it's okay, because we're just calling it how we see it. Like, even I've seen some like in public, some crazy things. I used to work at Walmart, okay, and I've worked there for in total 4 years, and let me tell you, the stuff that I've seen, insane. Parents let their child get away with anything. If a child goes up to the cash register and they want something, only thing they have to do is throw a fit, and the parents like, okay, just get it for them, just ring it up. That's like enabling behavior. If your child is throwing a fit, you don't give them what they want, because now they realize all they have to do is throw a fit, and then you'll give in to whatever they want. It's like, I don't know how to help you be a parent, but I think if you are a parent, and I don't know, I just feel like this video is for you. Maybe not for you personally, but maybe send it to a parent that has a child like this. Maybe this video is for them.
Ones that matter. I don't even care about the ones who are just trolls and are sitting back saying school doesn't matter, yap, mayor of Yapville, who cares? I don't care about you either. I'm talking to parents. If you are not ready to admit that there's a problem here, we cannot get anywhere near even talking about the solutions. We cannot raise a generation of kids that are this tuned out, that are this rude, that are this violent to each other, to adults, to people younger than them. We just can't do it.
And I think that, her entire video, I feel like it should have way more views than it does. Like, first off, like, it has 7 million views on TikTok, and it just needs way more views, because I feel like this is a serious problem. Kids their behavior is unlike anything I've ever seen before. I could not have imagined being in school and being comfortable cussing out a teacher or telling them to shut up or saying you're not my mom or you're not the boss of me, when in fact they kind of are. Though you're in their classroom and they're running the classroom that you are attending, and people don't realize, like, you have to. Why do I keep getting me phone calls? Sorry, I don't remember what I was talking about before I answered the phone, so I'm just gonna say this to end the video. I think it's good for the teachers who realize that they actually don't have to put up with the diabolical and awful behavior of these kids, but it honestly sucks because these teachers have put so much time and effort into becoming a teacher. I don't know much about what it takes to become a teacher. I know, in short, if you want to do early education, you can do be a childhood early education major, and then you can also double. I know one girl that I went to college with, she was an English major, and like she doubled as an English major and a childhood education major, so she could do both, be like an English teacher. And I really don't know what all it takes, but I just know it takes a lot of work to become a teacher, and they're not putting their degree to use because it's not worth it. Your sanity, it's not worth your sanity to be a teacher. And that's what a lot of these young teachers are realizing nowadays. They actually don't have to put up with the cruel behaviors of kids because it's not much they can actually do to defend themselves against children. They can't, and they shouldn't put their hands on a child, and they can't say anything bad back to the child because that could be their license. That can be their teaching license. So their teachers are pretty much defenseless against children. And I feel like quitting is them taking a little bit of that power back and a little bit of their self-respect back, because there isn't much they can do to protect themselves against the children. So, wow. I feel like I talked a lot in this video, and it feels so good to make a long video. I have not made a long video in, well, the last 2 uploads, but I'm going to start posting way more this month. I finally cleared up my iPhone storage because I had no storage, and I'm like, oh my God, I can record so many more videos now. So I'm excited for this next couple of weeks. But I'm going to end this video right here. Make sure you go follow me on my socials. It's all in my description box, and I will see you guys for the next video.